Hello, Orland Park. I'm Dan McMillan for 147 South, and we are here at the Orland Chateau, one of the finest places in the state of Illinois, definitely the finest banquet hall in the village of Orland Park, bar none. And we'll talk more about it, and by the end of this show, you're going to understand why. Not only because it's run by two of the finest gentlemen I've ever met, but they have a wonderful staff here. They have a wonderful location. The food they buy is top of the line. Everything they do is best in class. And they even host local events, charity events for free. So these two guys are running the banquet hall with a heart. So let's get to it. We're here at Orland Chateau for 147 South. We have the two proprietors of Orland Chateau. We have Mr. Tom Koszulinski. Did I say it right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, Tom Koszulinski. Hi, Tom, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us here tonight and opening up your place and to talk about it to all the living rooms of Orland Park. So to my left, his brother, who tells me that he works a lot harder than Tom, but but that's always gonna, there's always gonna be those discussions when it comes to running the business. But no, this is Leonard Koszulinski. Leonard.
Dan.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for having us, because what we try to do on 147 South is talk about and showcase top-of-the-line businesses, charities, and sports here in Orland Park. So last week, we were over at Sandburg High School for the State of the Village address by Mayor McLaughlin, who we dearly love. And this was the first year, as part of the event, that they were presenting a Business of the Year award through Orland Cares. And lo and behold, who gets the first year award but the Orland Chateau? So what do you think? Talk a little bit about what it means to be the recipient of the first Business of the Year award.
Well, it's a real honor. We were informed by the village that we were nominated for the award, and I went through a little process, and we were kept informed, and next thing you know, I got the call and said that we are the first one. And I liked it. I was real proud of it. Yeah, no, it's something. It's got to be something to be proud of. It's a stepping stone, because let's talk about that. That's a culmination of a long time ago, and many years, and a lot of work and a lot of hard work, but a lot of fun here. I'm sure you guys have to put a little fun into your work. It can't just be all grueling work every day. No, over here, this job is actually a lot of fun. Yeah. I always enjoyed it. My father, he had a great time with it. Tom, he never complains about staying here late. It's a good job to have. Yeah. It's usually happy occasions, weddings, and
that's what's good about it. Yeah, that's what's good about it. You're having that. You're hosting the chef's auction, and some charity events, things like that. So it does put you in a good mood to see everybody here, and everybody. You're probably seeing some bad dancing on that dance floor, but that's okay. We won't go into that. Anyway, Tom, let's talk. Let's if you could talk about, as I said, being Business of the Year is the culmination of many years. We talk a little bit about the history of Orland Chateau, because what's great is that when you come here, you're coming to a place that was started by your father. So what year did we establish Orland Chateau?
1970. I got out of high school, went on to college for 4 years, worked here while I was going through school, and then I got out of school. My father says, "You looking for a job?" And I go, "Sure, I'll work here." And that's where I started, figuring that he wasn't paying me much, but I thought, well, it's better than nothing,
Yeah.
46 years later, still doing the same thing.
And you're still here, 46 years. So you were here right at the beginning.
Very beginning, yes. Painted the place probably 5 times in 10 years. did everything.
So your dad started in 1970. What was Orland Park like back in 1970?
Well, LaGrange Road was 2 lanes. Then they went to the 4 lanes. Now they're at 6 lanes.
Now they're coming up to 6 lanes as soon as it's done.
I don't think I'll be around for 8 lanes, but
you never know.
I'd like to be. It was always nice being in Orland, though. The people here were always very kind, generous.
Yeah.
They were easy to get along with people, especially the village, the trustees, the mayors, and things. Anytime we requested anything, we never really were hassled about anything like that. Very easy to get along with.
So you came out here, you were one of the first businesses in Orland Park. I think I had read somewhere where there was only 6,300 people, population in Orland Park in 1970. And today I think it's well over 56,000 people, if not approaching 60,000. So it makes for a little different community. But being somebody that was here at the beginning, and I know, and I've only been here for about 12 years, but it still seems to have that small town feel with the urban amenities. Do you see that, having grown up through all of it?
Yeah, I don't really pay too much attention to what's going around there as much as, every once in a while they're opening up a new place, they're opening up another strip mall, they're opening up this, and you kind of drive by it, look around and go, oh, hope they do well, and they come here, go to work, go home. That's not a but it always feels like a smaller town type of thing, atmosphere, especially with the people. I don't know, I never really dealt with any big city type politicians or anything, but all the local ones around here are very, very nice people. I never had any problem with any of them.
So you've been here for 46 years. Have you have you had where you've had somebody have even a baptism, a christening party here, and then you've had their first communion party, and then you somebody. Have you ever taken it to where somebody had their christening here and then had their wedding here?
I've never seen that.
That would be one. We'd want to get them in and have them on the show if you could do that. But you probably have seen many family functions through the same families.
Well, last year we had a wedding where both sets of parents got married here. Yeah. So the bride and groom parents got married here, I knew them. They were talking to me and reminiscing, and so that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
25th anniversaries, people got married here 25 years ago, and it's all of a sudden like, wow, I remember you. Was that 25 years ago already? It's kind of how the time flies.
So they have their 25th anniversary here.
Yeah. I've had that a few times. Like my brother was saying, quite a few weddings where the kids come, and my parents got married here, and you go like, wow. It just makes you feel older every time that it happens.
But it's an established, and it's you've done over 4 decades of serving the community.
That's a long time, isn't it? Yeah.
It is a long time, but it keeps getting better, and it keeps getting better. Now, you had so your father started the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you guys worked it when your father started it. How old were you when we started the business?
I was 12 years old.
You were 12 years old.
Yeah.
So did you worked in it like in the back or?
And mainly vacuuming and setting up chairs and things like that. And still do all that.
Yeah.
But at 12 years old, we used to go outside and play a lot. The parking lot was gravel. Go out there and throw some rocks and have a little fun.
Now, were all the how many siblings are there? How many brothers and sisters?
Well, I come from a family of 10.
Yeah, so a family of 10,
and we didn't have much of a choice. We had to work here. My father was kind of like. I don't think they enforced the child labor laws too much back then. So, if you were old enough to walk, you were old enough to work here.
Yes. But it instilled the discipline in you that you've, and it made it an appreciation to where you've seen what you can do with helping out the community.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Yeah. So that was part of. What would you say if there's a mission statement? If you had a mission statement of the Orland Chateau, what would it entail?
Well, even with my father, when he opened this place up, And his philosophy was, and it still is our philosophy, that if your business is established and you're making a nice living, it's a good idea to give a little bit back to the community, sponsor a function here and there, and just be part of what's going on.
Yeah.
It's our good fortune is certainly their good fortune.
Yeah. So it's a good philosophy to live by. So
that was well said. I didn't know.
yeah, no, let's give back. So you've done a lot for civic events at school and school groups, sports organizations. Does anyone, and I know you got to reach in, maybe you got more than one, but something, just pull out, does something to where you guys had hosted or an event for the Scouts or somebody else that kind of sticks out in your mind that you you felt it was more gratifying than you anticipated?
What do you think?
The chef's auction, I would think. That one always is a pleasure to do, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because if you feel like you're contributing a lot more.
So you've hosted the chef's auction for what, the last since it started? Since it started, you've hosted it here at no charge. It's you're hosting it because all the proceeds go to a certain. So I know I think it went to Special Rec. It goes to the Bridge Teen Center is the recipient at this time. So it's something that has almost become established. I know it's one of the mayor's favorite events that he does every year.
He's always here.
Yeah.
Yes, he is, and he likes to do the auction. And now you're here for 46 years. At some point, as you evaluate what you have to do, you've had to make certain renovations and do things like that. What do we have now in terms of the meeting space and the banquet space and the bar? What have you done in the last few years that what you felt was an upgrade to the space?
Well, new banquet halls open up every year, and it seems they always open up right around us. So you have to keep up, and I'll update all the time.
Yeah.
What doesn't work? I mean, people come in and say, it doesn't look new. You have to make it look new. You have to work at it. And keep up, and every year we do something to the place.
Yeah.
And people will come in and they'll say, well, that's different. But we don't really have much of a choice as far as that goes.
Yeah, so you have to keep, it's kind of keeping up with the Joneses.
Right.
So you make sure you're always there for your competition.
Absolutely.
Now, I heard something, it sounds a little fascinating as to, and I don't know that you still do it, but back in the 70s when you opened, you started opening on Sunday mornings so that you had to actually hold mass here because there was an overflow at St. Michael's. How did it work? Did you hold mass here, or people were coming here after mass? I'm trying to.
Yeah, no, that was St. Michael's was. They were going to renovate their church, and they needed extra space. And my parents belonged to St. Michael's at the time, and then I'm trying to think of the priest's name.
I think his name was Father Shutt.
Yeah.
He was the guy who came here.
Yeah, and asked to do a 10:30 mass here, and my father, oh sure, no problem. And it was only supposed to be for maybe a year, but I think it went good 4 or 5 years. I guess they had a nice turnout here every Sunday, and it got to a point where I think they were getting. They were packing it here.
Yeah.
And we just meant to do it for a year or so, and then it went 5 years.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, how long is this going to go on?
So you were holding mass here. So the real church. The priest was here, and so did you serve communion?
No. We just took communion.
Yeah.
So you didn't do any Eucharistic minister or anything like that?
But that was hard because, we would come, you'd have to get here early Sunday mornings. And back then, you were able to smoke in the buildings and a lot of drinking and smoking. So you'd walk in here at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning and it was smelled pretty bad, you know.
Yeah.
And then you had to try to air it out real quickly and have the mass, then get the room ready in an hour for functions that day. And but
would you do a Sunday brunch?
No.
After the mass, while they were all here, or no?
No, it was just too much even getting that. We had to clear out all the tables, line up all the chairs.
Yeah.
It was all, volunteer type of thing. So.
Did we have a cross or anything up there?
They had an altar. They stored the altar in the coat room.
Yeah.
Portable altar.
Oh.
They bring the tabernacle or the chalices, whatever. They would bring that all the time. They didn't take that around.
No.
Yeah, it was fun.
So speaking of going to church, let's get a little bit of background on where you guys came from. You grew up in this business, but where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to high school? Where did you go to college? So what prepared you for the life here at the Chateau?
Well, we lived across the street from St. Linus Parish.
Oh, St. Linus.
104th and Lawler. Literally right across from the school. When did we move out of there? 74?
Yeah, 74, right.
Yeah. So
To Orland Park?
To Orland Park, yeah. I went to Quigley South High School.
Now that's the one that's now St. Rita?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't going to be a priest, but I just ended up there for some reason. I don't know why, but I liked the school. It was a great school.
Yeah.
Got a great education there. And then I went to the Lewis College. It was a college at the time. Then they changed it to a university. Yeah. And graduated from there with a degree in business. And I think all my other brothers followed. They went to Marist. Didn't you guys go to Marist?
Yeah, I went to Marist, right. Yeah.
Went to Marist High School?
Yes.
And do you get back there to see it periodically?
It's 10 times the size it was when I
Yes,
went.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's huge.
Do you ever host anything? Any events from Marist here?
No, people, they would book it. They just rent the room from us. We don't do any of our own hosting or anything like that.
Yeah.
Now, if there was going to be a class reunion or anything like that, that would be something that they would take.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would book it here.
Has Marist ever had a class reunion here?
I don't think
They
so.
had a couple of those senior dances here, though, didn't they? Remember a couple of years?
Yeah,
those
they
were
did
3 or 4
back then.
years.
Yeah, they did.
Senior dances.
Junior dinner dance. That's what those were called.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, all the things you've done, many, many, many years here. Let's just the audience might even be thinking, what's the most unusual event you've ever hosted? It's ever happened here at the Chateau? Whether it was whether you didn't realize it was going to happen and all of a sudden a stripper came out of a cake or something like that. I don't, we don't, something that would, something that stood out, but, nothing illegal, as we're saying, but, so anything, what's the most unusual event that you've seen over the years?
Oh, boy. One of my buddies got married here. This must have been early 80s. We had a big storm. All the power went out. It was a wedding for like 300 people, and the power was out right as we started serving dinner. And so we lit candles, put candles on all the tables, and pretty much stuck them in beer bottles because we didn't have candle holders. Everything in the kitchen, there was all gas, so we were able to cook the food still, and and the beef you had to slice by hand. It was difficult to do. They had a live band that day, so the band wasn't able to play, but the power was off for probably 3-4 hours, almost till the wedding started, I think, at 6:30, and the power didn't go on back till 10:30. And but everybody had a great time. The blenders at the bar didn't work because there wasn't any power, so everybody's drinking beer and it's pretty much straight whiskey, and everyone was having the time of their life. And so every once in a while I'll see my friend, and he just brings up that that wedding, and he goes, it was the best wedding he was ever at, and I go, Fred Wigman. That was Roscoe's wedding.
Yeah. So you took lemonade. They kind of gave you lemons, and you made lemonade out of it, and you made probably They had one of the most memorable events that they've. Someone will look back, and like you said, somebody mentioned it.
Yeah, and then I'll have people say like, especially weather in the winter, weddings in the January, February. What if it's a major snowstorm? What if the power goes out? Do you have backup generators? And we don't, but I think to myself, we'll get the candles out again, and it'll work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, that's it. Almost seems that it was so memorable that you almost might want to offer a candlelight wedding. That might be That might be a new business proposition. Let's try it.
And they opened all the exit doors up. It was a nice night, because the storm went through, and a nice breeze through the whole place. I was like, wow, this is really a nice wedding. So. But that was
very good.
Other than that, I don't know. Every wedding's. They're all fun.
They're all fun. They're all unique. They all got something else different. There's a story behind every wedding.
A couple fights here and there, but not too much anymore. People used to drink a lot more in the 70s and 80s. Now everyone, if there's anyone who had too much to drink, there's always someone to take care of them now. Before, it was scary how people would just leave.
Well, what's your thoughts, or how do you guys handle it? You bring up a good point. What do you do with it can be your liability, because everybody, we're so litigious these days that you're gonna get sued. And so you're down the line, they're going to try to hold you responsible and somebody else responsible. What are your thoughts, or how do you train your people in terms of serving alcohol, and when is enough enough?
Oh, you just know. You have to. The bartenders, they take the course from
the village.
The village. In fact, but once people start getting loud and belligerent, and you got to cut them off. You have no choice in anything like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make them any better.
No.
They get even meaner. But the rules are rules, and there's no getting around anything like that. That's a must.
Now, in 46 years, have you ever had to ask anybody to leave?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
A lot.
Does it happen?
Yeah. But you know what? It's you pretty much cut them off from their liquor, and then they get a little belligerent, and then there's always, like I said, a family member or a friend that says, look, you had enough, you have to go. Sometimes they fight with each other, which I don't care about. As long as they don't fight with us, that's fine.
Yeah.
So
what are your thoughts on, and because we take it for granted now, it seems like generations ago, when we'd be sitting at this table, and if there's 10 people, 7 of them might be smoking at the same time. So when you talked about how tough it was to air the place out, so what's the difference now between when no smoking now and smoking before?
Night and day. There would be, every table would have 3 large ashtrays on it, and they would be empty. A lot of times they'd have to empty them midway through the party, and it was just a cloud of smoke. It was horrible.
So were you happy when they because there was I know there was always there was complaining when it first happened with the smoke ban. Of course, Orland Park did some of it on their own before the state did it.
Yeah. Right.
But did you lose anything you thought, that first year when it was Orland, and then Tinley didn't jump in with it, but it was, I don't know that anybody would have made a decision of where to have their event based on if they could smoke or not.
No, it's people. They pretty much. You have some people who absolutely refuse to cooperate, but they went away real fast. Things like that, and no, it is a lot. It's just much cleaner.
I know it sounds stupid, but that is probably one of the greatest improvements in the last 20 years that I've seen in the world. The world is a better place because you can go into so many places now, and you aren't a captive of people smoking next to you. I mean, I grew up with it. My mother smoked. I mean, we used to smoke right at can you think about people would smoke right now? You never think of somebody sitting across from you and smoking, but it was natural 15 years ago.
We used to have to change the ceiling panels every few years, 5-6 years,
Yeah, they
would
turn
get
yellow.
Yeah, yellow.
Yeah.
They're that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Now
it's-
people, they go outside to smoke, and they come back in, and you go like, wow, who's been smoking? You know,
Yeah.
that's how sensitive it,
Yeah.
just that smell of it.
You know that they did.
Yeah, I never smoked, so
I
I
never
always hated it, but I was always around it and
Yeah,
exposed to
no,
it.
you would.
and-
Yeah, you
and-
would be. So, you've had a lot of great events here. You get a lot of things that you look forward to. Is there an event that is the most fun and you look forward to? With any type of event, you say, "Oh God, I'm glad we're having that. Or this is coming up." I know we talked a little bit about the chef's auction. That's something you look forward to every year. Is there anything else that's just fun?
Basically, our family weddings.
Yeah.
Tom's daughter's got married here. I got a bunch of nephews and nieces. They're always
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And it's just a good time. Just relax and just have a great time with
Tom's daughter got married here.
them. Both his
Oh,
daughters
did-
did.
Did you give him a good rate?
Yeah. Got a nice little letter from both of them. Thank you letter. It was nice.
That's good. That helps. That helps. But you guys been around. Leo was your dad.
Yes.
Leo was your dad. So he started the business. Did he ever say? I mean, was it his vision to start a banquet hall? And I don't know if that's a good term or not. What do you? I call it a banquet hall, but what do you call it? It's Orland Chateau. It's,
we just call it the BH a lot of times. You know,
BH.
But
Okay.
my father owned the car wash on 104th and Cicero in the 60s, and there was Chateau Boucher was on kind of kitty corner from it. And he used to sit there and look at their parking lot and go, wow, look at that place, you know, it's doing great. And the owners would come over and get their car washed, and my father would say like, wow, how come you're not over there? He says, well, we're pretty much done for the day. You know, we're on our way home. And he's like, wow. And plus my father was a musician, and he played in a lot of places, and he always loved to be around parties. And that's when he decided to come out here and build a banquet room. Okay, so make it sound
Yes,
nicer.
banquet hall, banquet room.
And he
had a
always
vision.
loved it. He enjoyed it. He never complained about it. He just loved it. He loved being around people and parties, and
Yeah, I mean, like I
and
said,
every week you go to a wedding, and it's,
Yeah.
and he says it's like you say, it's fun to watch people have a good time.
Yeah.
And they're leaving, and you're like, that was a nice party.
Yeah.
You know, and so you never get tired of that.
do you have a
Yeah,
certain
so-
method as to how do you work the crowd at all? Do you guys work the crowd when it's here? Do you go around? Do you talk to people? I mean, it's not. You're not hosting it actually, so I don't know. You're not going to go around as much as the bride and groom might walk around and say hello. But how do you approach it when you've got? They're your guests too. They're guests of the Orland Chateau.
It's important to be visible so they can, and so you know who you are.
Yeah.
You own the hall, then they're your responsibility, and you could talk with them. Most people are very happy to talk and chit chat.
And what's good is it's fun, but you're also marketing to the crowd. Because just like I know a singer, Nino Foligno, and he always said, you know Nino?
Oh, he's
Oh,
been here a
definitely,
million
yeah.
times.
Oh, has he? Yeah, Nino has been.
Yeah.
Nino's my son's godfather. And we love Nino. He used to work, he was our service manager. And Nino would always talk about, he rarely ever came out of a gig, whatever you want to call it, an engagement, without another one.
Yeah.
Somebody hears him, oh, this is great, I'm having a bar mitzvah, can you do that one? So you've got 300 people here, there's a good chance that somebody's going to have a graduation party, or somebody's going to have or somebody else is going to have a wedding, and you're going to, they're going to say, boy, that Leonard was a nice guy. He was such a nice guy. We enjoyed it. The food was great, but I mean, all of that's important. But it's got to be important, knowing, feeling comfortable that that they're in good hands.
Right.
So
Definitely.
you're working
Yeah.
the crowd. You're working the crowd, and what that does is, folks, these days we're in the digital age. We're in the digital age. So you're part of what you guys do for your marketing, of course, is. I don't know how much you get out. How much do you do? We'll talk a little bit about marketing, and then I want to talk a little bit about reviews. How do you market the Orland Chateau? I mean, word of mouth is probably the biggest part of it. Like you said,
Most of it,
somebody's here for one thing. They're going to have their daughter's communion next time.
I would say it's 90% word of mouth.
Yeah.
And people have been here. We tried mainly for the weddings.
Yeah.
We've tried brides magazines and things like that, and that it seems to help a little bit, but you just can't beat when people have been here before.
Yeah.
It's an easy sell. Then when they come in, they know what they're going to get.
Yeah,
They know they're going to get a nice dinner and good drinks.
We
and
look at it the same way as far as selling a car. When a neighbor tells a neighbor what a great experience they've had over at Joe Rizza Ford, then then at least we got a one-up on them.
We've had a lot of weddings where 2-3 people in the same family get married here. So it's always a nice compliment when they come back with their second daughter and their sons, and then it makes you feel like, all right, we did a good job for that one. So.
And now we have something new in this day and age that we can't turn our backs on. It's there. But, would we have ever asked for it? I don't know that we'd ever asked for the internet, but it's here. And so before I came in, I thought, as I'm doing a little research, because I love to research before every show, I looked at some of the reviews, and you guys get a lot of great reviews. And so I'm sure that's, it's some people, a lot of people, whenever we're going to do anything now, before they go, let's take a look at the Orland Chateau. Let's see how the reviews are. And so I'm looking at them, and I've got one here. We had our wedding here, and the brothers who own it were beyond accommodating. And then they just go down and talk at length about how great you are. We just recently celebrated my mom's 80th birthday there, and it was simply beautiful. And then a local celebrity said, Orland Chateau is an Orland Park gem, the perfect place for parties of any type. So these go on and on. Oh, they dressed you right in your name is in lights here in Yelp. Overall, Tom and Leonard were a joy to work with, and we will definitely have future events here. I would definitely use this banquet hall again. The flowers were roses in a tall vase in the table and were better than what I was expecting. So is that something? So what I'm reading here is that you exceed expectations. And so is that something? You just try to be your best you can always be, but you're exceeding expectations, and people are going online and saying it.
Well, you have to nowadays because of that. Somebody puts a bad review, it doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
You take it personally too when something like that happens, and then you have to really put a better effort in. Not that we never do. We always put a great effort in, but you have to go more than that.
Yeah.
And when they do exceed those expectations, then you get reviews. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, you feel good when you read the positive reviews.
Yeah.
We're all human. Right. So even though sometimes actors say I don't read my reviews, well, that's things like that. And plus you live and die by them. Your business is going to live and die by the reviews.
I would have to say, of the few negative reviews in there, that I read, and I think and I go like, wow, what were they so upset about? We do the same for everyone the same way pretty much. We always try to do our best. And then you get a review and they kind of rip on you a little bit, and you go, wow.
I know.
But sometimes some people are just miserable people.
Yeah, that's it. Those miserable people.
There's sometimes when people walk in and I go, whoa, I hope they don't book, because you could tell, being in the business so long.
You'll never please them.
Yeah, exactly. They come in and they want to fight right away, and you're like, okay, thank you for stopping by, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you'll think that to yourself, and maybe it comes across like that, and then you look in a review. We went in there to talk to them, and they sure gave us the cold shoulder, and I want to go, because you didn't want to fight with you.
I saw that one.
Yeah,
and that's it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
They don't even book, and they're ripping on you, and you go, phew, good thing we didn't book them.
Yeah.
Because they would have really ripped on us.
Yeah, but it's.
But I have to say, I can't think of only a handful of of people that gave us, when they were leaving, were saying like we weren't happy. It's and all the years we've been here, I would have to say 97% of the people walk out happy.
Yeah.
I hope they do. You know, but it's
yeah. No.
When things sometimes when you're doing this day in and day out, and you're like, oh, they didn't eat as much. I wonder why. And then you think, well, I don't know, maybe they just weren't hungry. But you always feel like if they eat a lot, then you feel good. You know, you feel like, oh, they really enjoyed their dinners. That was nice. It makes you feel good. You go home and you sleep at night. And you go like, that was a nice party. I'm happy.
Yeah.
You never get tired of it. So.
What's your busiest season? When do you? What really gets you? What season are you absolutely crazy where you can't? Where you have to actually end up turning people away? You can't. You're just over. You're booked.
Well, there's only so many weekends, so pretty much every weekend, you fill
throughout the year.
Well, January, February, a little slower months, but after, it usually seems like after Easter falls different dates. It usually picks up quite a bit after Easter.
Yeah.
The warmer months.
Yeah. So you've got stuff here almost every weekend once March hits them. At that point.
Yeah.
How are the weeknights? How does that work?
Well, we get a few of those, especially right after Easter and May. You get a lot of school functions and retirement parties and sports banquets, things like that.
Yeah.
You get a lot of those during the week.
Yeah. So you've been here a long time, 46 years. So where do you see the Orland Chateau in 20 years?
Wow.
20, maybe even 15. But where do you see it going?
Sometimes we were just thinking about that a couple of weeks ago. I was saying like, wow, I got a son who's at home, and Leonard's got a couple of kids, and I'm thinking, we get old enough to not do this. I wonder if anybody would, pick up on it. But it's a lot of work, and I don't know. We'll have to think about that.
Yeah. Are the kids interested in? Is it going to be a third generation?
I would like to. I would like it to be, but it's kind of hard. Things got so expensive, and for them to, like when my father sold it to me and my brother, it was a hard mortgage to pay.
Yeah.
We finally paid them off, and then we were able to do some renovations and such. Now it seems like you'd even have to ask more, and it's kind of like a little catch-22 kind of a thing. If you don't want to, if we did turn it over or sold it to one of our kids, they'd have a tough nut, tough nut to crack. Tough note to crack.
Yeah, tough note. But I'm not pushing you into retirement. We're happy to see you here for the next
that's why I'm
30, 40 years.
Because I'm 6 years older than you? I don't know, 6 years older than you?
About 5, yeah.
5, yeah. So I'm starting to feel that retirement kind of coming on. And 5 years ago I didn't think about it, but now I'm like, sometimes this gets to be a little hard. But I don't dwell upon it too much, but one of these days it's going to have to happen. So.
Yeah. Well, we don't look forward to that. We look forward to, if it passes on within the family, it'll be great because
it'll be nice. Right.
It'll be it's a wonderful family business to be here in a wonderful town like Orland Park, so that it's the history and the roots are here. So we look forward to being here a long time. I think the chef's auction is next week.
Yes, it is.
So are you guys busy preparing for it?
We don't have to do too much.
You don't have to do too much?
That's why we like doing it.
Yeah.
We come here, we sample all the different restaurants, dinners.
Because the restaurants bring, they bring stuff.
We help set up a little bit, but we just kind of sit back and eat.
Yeah. And you probably, it's nice that you host, and it's great that you host it, and you're doing it from the heart, but you probably do get some business off of that. You get people coming in and see it and say, well, this is a nice place, and this is...
I hope so.
It builds it up. It builds it up. But It's a wonderful place. I've been here for a few banquets. Pioneers have held their banquets here before, so I remember standing up on that stage and introducing the kids.
Yeah.
And I remember standing over there singing the song "Sisters" as in the Broadway Review a few years ago. So it's you've had some diverse shows here, and so we look forward to many, 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 many years. You're the first of many, but you're the first. I don't know if you can repeat. I don't know how they're going to do this award. Maybe you'll be every year, because you have such heart, you'll get the Business of the Year award. So we hope to see you keep growing and keep serving everyone here in Orland Park. So let's as we wrap up, let's have both Tom and Leonard just give us their perspective on what it means to be here in Orland Park. Tom, you can go first.
It's been a pleasure. I don't know of any other village I would rather be in. Can't say nothing bad about Orland Park. Everyone's been very fair and nice. I have, from the mayor down, everyone's been very pleasant. Even the past mayors. You just kind of take for granted what a nice village this is.
Yeah.
You just
do.
And you hear about other villages and problems they have, and you never hear anything bad about Orland Park.
No.
Everyone's always, you hear Orland Park. Oh, what a nice town. So I'm glad we're here. Glad my father picked Orland Park.
That's it. So 46 years later, can we come back for the big blowout for the 50th year celebration?
Yeah, we should do something, I think, huh?
Yeah, we'll be here.
Nice.
What is going to be 2020? Just like the TV show.
Right, there
so
you go.
book it now. We're going to be here in 2020 for the 50th anniversary celebration. So, Leonard, what does it mean to you to be in Orland Park and be, to have grown with Orland Park? Like we said, you came here and there was 60. When you started, there were 6,300 people, and now we've got 60,000.
I'm very comfortable here. I enjoyed being here all these years, especially when you talk to people who have been here for all these years, the same people that we run into, what we always call Orland Park regulars.
Yeah.
And they grew up with the village, they grew up with us, and it's that hometown feeling you were talking about.
Yeah.
It's a great place.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I'd say. It's almost like a combination of Toledo and Mayberry. It's got the amenities, and I use Toledo because it's a bigger city. I don't think New York City would be too big, but Toledo, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Toledo.
I drove through it.
Did you? Did you stop at Tony Pacco's?
No, I just drove right through it.
Okay, well, next time stop at Tony Pacco's. Beautiful place. They made that famous on MASH. If you ever watched MASH, Tony Pacco's, Klinger used to always order hot dogs to get shipped over from Tony Pacco's. It's a great place. It's one of those places that if you go to Toledo, you stop in at Tony Pacco's, because all the celebrities that do go through sign a hot dog bun, and then they put it in a plastic case and put it up on the wall. So everybody from Paul Newman to Gina Lola Brigida has signed a hot dog bun in Toledo and Tony Pacco's. But Orland Park personifies that small town feel with as I've said before, with the big city amenities. So we're happy for you to be a part of it for so many years. We're happy to see you as Orland Park has Heart Business of the Year Award. Now the last question that we have to ask, just to get a state of your mind and what you and how you think. Last question of the day, both of you. Leonard, we're going to go with you first. Beatles or Stones?
Oh, I was always a Beatles fan.
Beatles,
yeah.
Okay. That's I tend to get that. I think if I had to say who votes Beatles or Stones, probably more Beatles. So you're Beatles. Tom?
Beatles.
Beatles.
My wife likes the Stones. So,
Does she?
So it's kind of like a Beatles, though. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got two Beatles here. So folks, that's it. We found out that. Have you ever had a Beatles tribute band here?
I think we have.
Have you had a few here? Yeah.
quite a few of them, really.
Yeah, because there's so many out there. But it's
Yeah.
that's always enjoyable. Do you find yourself enjoying the music when they're doing? You like when the band plays music that you know?
Boy, that's something, 40 years ago, the music was just so different. Now, I'd have to say in the last 5 years, the DJs with their new music and all that, it's like, oh man, what happened to the good old music?
Yes. What happened to Bob Seger?
We used to have all live bands for the weddings and such, and some of them are really, really good.
Yeah.
And now it's the DJs, and a lot of them play the same typical music that you hear all the time. And then there's music now that you don't even, club music, I guess they would call it, that would go on for an hour and nonstop and loud. And I go, well, I'm just getting older. And but kids enjoy it.
It keeps the kids keeps the kids amused. But what we need is more Nino Foligno.
There you go.
So we'll get Nino out here.
Yeah.
So, folks, on that note, with our favorite singer Nino Foligno, we want to thank Tom Koszulinski. Am I saying it right, Tom?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
Tom, thanks for coming tonight, or thanks for having us out here tonight. Leonard Koszulinski, the two proprietors of the finest banquet hall in the state of Illinois, located within the beautiful town of Orland Park. So folks, if you're having a wedding, if you're having a bar mitzvah, if you're having a graduation party, if you're having an anniversary party, any type of event that you need, anything, you guys do cut it down. Like you got a room, what if somebody was having an event, they just had 100 people?
Splits down the middle.
Yes, splits down the middle. Okay, so you can have a 300. What's the largest you've had? How many people?
500.
500.
That's our capacity, but that's putting tables on the dance floor and such.
Those were those pioneers.
Those pioneers will pack them in, folks. So you got to love it. So we want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Thank the Koszulinskis. Did I say it again?
Correct.
Yeah, Koszulinskis for having us tonight. It's a wonderful place. I look forward to visiting here many times. We want to thank you for watching. We want to thank Mayor Dan McMillan for allowing us to be on Orland Park TV and present to the citizens of Orland Park. So thank you very much. Thank you to the trustees. I'm Dan McMillan here for 147 South and Orland Park TV, and we want to say we have two Beatles guys right here, and they're proud of it. Thank you very much from the Orland Chateau.